Hello and welcome to Get the Bag. I'm your host, Kelly, and I have on the show today Miss Courtney Hunt of Ambassadors of Hope. So, Miss Courtney, tell me about Ambassadors of Hope.
So, Ambassadors of Hope is a program that I started with one of my best friends on this earth, Jocelyn Gillard. Shout out to you, girl.
All right, Jocelyn. See you, girl.
And HOPE is an acronym standing for Helping Others Parent Effectively.
Okay.
So, we started in 2017. We first started off with a parenting education program. We partner with other organizations out here in the community, like here at Edna Martin Christian Center.
Yes.
And we host workshops for parents to keep them from becoming involved with the Department of Child Services.
Now, that's deep.
It is. And we really enjoy what we do. People enjoy what we're doing. And so we expanded our services a couple years later after that, maybe like 2019. And we went after contracts to work with families that had open DCS cases.
Okay.
So at first with our parenting education program, you can't have an open DCS case. If you have an open DCS case, you're ineligible to participate. So then we got contracts that will allow people who had open DCS cases to participate. And so I had that contract for maybe a year, a little over a year, and it was just sitting there. And one of the services we were able to offer was a resource parent support group.
Okay.
And so the pandemic happened, and everything was going virtual. And the problem I had with prior to the pandemic with doing my support group was it's outside of Marion County where I live. I have tons of connections here in Marion County that I could go, like here or Thomas Gregg Neighborhood School, that I could use space to host the groups. But these groups that I had the contract at were in Madison, Hamilton, Hancock, and Tipton County.
Okay.
And so I didn't.
So you just all over, yes.
Yes. And so I was going and I was driving and trying to talk to churches and people like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Can we use your space? And I just wasn't getting anywhere. So back to the pandemic happens and everything's going virtual. DCS actually calls me and they're like, hey, our current provider isn't no longer wanting to do the support groups and they're not really doing a good job on the virtual space. They're having an issue doing that. Are you guys willing to take over this? And
Opportunity.
Absolutely. And so I'm like, of course. And so we've been doing that since the end of 2020. And since then I've expanded to a whole nother area. So I'm in the southern part of Indiana. Well, not that part, that far south, but a little bit south of Indianapolis. So I'm in like Bartholomew, Johnson, Shelby, so those little counties that are just a little south of Indianapolis. So we've been doing that, and then also because of the pandemic and I couldn't get out to face-to-face classes, I started offering some other classes to other people for free. These are the therapeutic foster care agencies. And so one of them I did for free, and we killed it. And now they come to us on a regular basis, and they pay for the classes.
So meat and potatoes, y'all. So one of the things to do to boost your business is have a free offering.
Absolutely. I mean, it changed the game, and for us. And then from there, we've also done some other foster parent trainings and been able to receive funding from that. So this is additional funding coming in outside of the contracts that I have with the state of Indiana. So we're doing really well. I have to boast on us.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you. So after every class, we give out surveys, and people rate between 1 and 5. 1 means I hated it, and a 5 means I loved it. And 3 times in July, on the classes that we hosted, every survey turned in was a 5. So I just want to shout out to all my team for doing great and amazing work, but it just reaffirms to me that we're doing something great and amazing, and people are really appreciating it.
Awesome. So I'll let you guys know that Miss Courtney here was the winner of the Edna Martin Pitch Contest. So give her snaps for that. Yes, we're gonna snap and clap because you deserve it all. She participated in this pitch contest. She went through our 6-week program here at Edna Martin, the business training class. And as you can see, her business has been skyrocketing through that entire process.
Absolutely.
So she has grown exponentially, and I cannot wait to see all the things that you will do next.
Well, thank you, Kelly.
So tell me, you went through the whole process of going through the free business training class.
Yes.
What was your favorite part of that class?
I definitely loved just the information. I'm not a business owner. I just keep it 100 with people. In reality, I hate the business part of the business. I don't like the marketing. I don't like the billing. I don't the managing of it, keeping track of receipts and things like that. So it was good to know and start having a foundation, because I joined the class being 5 years into being a business owner. And so it just really gave me a lot of things to think about and an understanding of like why things need to be done a certain way. And so my friend Jocelyn, she recently, I've been telling her a lot of ideas now that I have that I would like to do to expand the business. And she was like, you've been coming up with a lot of good ideas lately. And I'm like, yeah, that's because now I know I have a little bit of a foundation to go off of because of the business class here at Endemar.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And so with that, it doesn't matter where you are with your business, right? You could be 10 years in, but sometimes you need a little extra. When you get information, it's easier to start that wheel turning, right? Especially when, you're in a class full of your peers and you see what they're doing and you get those ideas, and it's easier to like say, hey, you know what, this might work for me. And so thank you for absolutely sharing that. Tell us about the pitch contest.
That was nerve-wracking. I was number one. I had to go first.
Every time we practice pitches, she was number one.
I know I wasn't. I usually go in the middle or the end. So to actually go first, you know what I mean? You're already nervous because, you want the benefit of winning. So you already got that going on. And then the judges and everybody's looking at you. And so to be first and be out the gate, it's like, it was a little nerve-wracking, but it was definitely a great experience. Even just thinking about how I wanted to present my business to people, it really made me focus on like what it is that I'm doing, how can I convey that better to people to get them interested in what I'm doing. And so it was so funny, while creating the pitch and practicing the pitch, I've had several other opportunities to actually pitch. Not necessarily for funding, but actually to say, hey, do you want to partner with me? Can I come in and you utilize my classes? Or even just getting a person to sign up and get involved. So it was really a great, useful tool that I've seen that I can use in every aspect of the business.
Awesome. So you being able to talk about your business, tell people exactly what you're doing, and get straight to the point. How has that helped you in terms of helping people understand the benefit of your business?
I think it's doing really well for us. I think that, I find it so challenging when you're not in child welfare that people don't understand the terms. I kind of get in my acronym bag and I just want to throw out all these names and letters and combinations. People don't understand what it is that I'm doing. Now, when I talk to people over at the Department of Child Services, they right on it with me. But outside of it, it gets a little challenging and confusing. So it has allowed me to think of a way to be a little bit more clearer and concise that maybe somebody that doesn't really fully know about child welfare, foster care, the difference between when I'm saying prevention and intervention, what that means.
So tell me, what inspired you to start this business?
Oh, wow. Now, that's a long story, Kelly.
Yes, go ahead and tell it. We got time. We got time for you.
So, oh gosh, it's really my testimony, in all honesty, the start of it. So, growing up, I do not like the word survivor. I got issues with it, but we're going to use it for today, of some abuse in my childhood. And my mother always told me, these things happen to you for a reason. You are to use some of this to inspire and help other people. And so initially I was going to go to school to be an attorney.
Okay. And I can see that. I
think I would be a great attorney.
Yes.
And so that was what I was going to do because I wanted to help children that had been abused. And so I ended up getting pregnant my senior year of high school. And I didn't really feel like people were supporting me in that moment. I got a lot of, well, what are you going to do now? How are you going to finish school? You've ruined your life. Things of that nature. So I was really feeling down and out about myself. And then I went to college, and then I ended up getting married at 19. I ended up getting pregnant again at 20. So I had these 2 babies and a husband trying to go through school. So the average person gets done in about 4 years. It took me 6 years to get my undergrad degree.
But you did it.
I did it. Thank you, Jesus. And it was during that time that I was like, I'm tired of school. It was hard to get to this point in my life. I need to take a step back and everything like that. So I went into the work field, and my first job after graduating college was at the public assistance office. So I was processing your food stamps, TANF, and Medicaid applications. And it was during that time that I met Jocelyn. And I just remember I had just recently started. I maybe had been there for a couple of months, and I remember she started, and the director was going around and introducing her to everybody, and I heard the Holy Ghost say, befriend her. Didn't know why. I didn't know what. It just did, and I did. And she was a supervisor. So here I am, just fresh out of college. This was my first job, and you want me to go to this person that's a higher up than me. And I did reach out to her and started talking to her, and I found out she was the same age as me.
Okay.
She was married. She had 2 kids at that time, and she was buying a house, and I was buying a house. So we just instantly clicked.
Yeah.
And I really admired her because I'm like, she's my age and she's already a supervisor. Let's go with this. The food stamp office, public assistance office, playing my cup of tea.
Well,
so I left her and I went to go work at another agency. All the while, when Jocelyn ends up leaving the food stamp office, I call her a state girl because she went to work for another part of the state, which was the Department of Child Services. So one day we're on the phone and she was like, hey, what do you do over there where you working? And I told her, she was like, that sounds like what we do over here. You might as well come over here and make more money. So I did, and I will never follow her to another job again.
Under the bus, Jocelyn. You saw that, right?
So I worked for the Department of Child Services, and I was very nervous because I was just like, I don't know if I could have my heart to be and see these children be like what Bernie Mac said, beat to the white meat. And ironically enough, it just sat well with me, and it was something God had equipped in me to be able to handle what I was seeing and really speak to these families.
Because you have to have a heart for it,
right?
Absolutely. Because that was actually my first job out of college.
Oh,
was Department of Child Services, yes. And like you said, to the white meat, you got to be mentally prepared for that.
Absolutely. And ironically enough, I never had any physical abuse cases on my caseload.
We're lucky you.
Yeah, I only had neglect cases, so. You know what I mean?
Did you do case management or investigation?
No, I did case management.
Okay.
I did the ongoing piece.
So you didn't have the real fun of going to...
Right, yeah. I let y'all come in there, clean it up a little bit, then I would come in.
All the stories we probably both have.
Oh, yeah. And so I ended up leaving the department because I felt like I couldn't really represent the families the way that I wanted to. I wasn't always in agreement with the state wanted me to do. Yeah. And so I ended up leaving the department, and I ended up having a couple of jobs here and there. But I was primarily doing work with contract services. So I still work with families who had open DCS cases, but now I'm a service provider. So I'm doing your domestic violence education.
I did that too.
I'm doing your home visits. I'm doing your home-based casework. And so that's how I kind of got a little bit of a feel about what it is to be a service provider and things of that nature. And so I was kind of like running this one woman's program in that role. She was up in Lake County. I'm here down in Marion County. I'm seeing all the staff. I'm training them. I'm like giving her ideas like, hey, did you know there's some more funding and stuff? And I'm like, you know what? If I'm doing all of this for her, why can't I do it for myself?
That says a lot.
And so I'm a job hopper. Don't judge.
This is a no judgment zone.
So the job after that, with working with the lady that, I'm running her business. I'm working at, I'll put them out there, Brightwood Community Center. And they told me about funding for prevention. Yeah. And so I was like, okay. So then me and Jocelyn got together. We came up with a program. Yes. We submitted our application and we got approved. And that was just such a huge accomplishment for us and a success because we're the new kids on the block. And there's kind of like this good old boys gang that happens. And so to get that money on the first try, was a real huge accomplishment. And so, we get up there, and when we started facilitating these classes, we just kept it real. Like I said, my story was I was a teen mom, and I had to go through life and get what I needed to get to that level. And then Jocelyn had her first child when she was in college, and now she has 4 kids too, has special needs. And so we're sitting up here and we're talking to you about real life stuff.
Yes, and that's so important.
Yes, I'm not coming in here and telling you, oh, you shouldn't do this to your kids, and I have this MSW and whatever behind my name, but I'm telling you, hey, this is what works for me. You know,
Yeah.
I used to spank my kids. I'm a reformed spanker now, you know, and I'm finding this is what made me change and do it this way.
Yes.
And so people really enjoy what we're doing and what we're talking about and appreciate us and the way that we are relatable. So I think the question originally was, why did I start this? And it just feels like all the while going back to initially when I said I wanted to be an attorney, my rationale behind it, I wanted to help abused and neglected children. And even though I'm not an attorney, but the work that I'm doing right now, I am helping abused and neglected children. And God has just orchestrated my story and my path and my journey to put me in that position to still fulfill that.
Awesome. So tell me about like the contract process, because that's a question that a lot of entrepreneurs have. How do you, even get asked to submit a contract, and what's the process behind that?
Okay, now you're asking me hard questions.
Yes.
So
We ask the real stuff on Get the Bag, right? Because we want people to get to the bag.
Absolutely. And again, this is just divine intervention. It's during that job that I had where I was training people, that down the road I reconnected with some people, and because I was so nice and helpful to them, that they turned around and they helped
the
me.
network.
Yes. And so they walked me through the whole process. So I couldn't even really tell you off the top of my head how it goes, because I had somebody helping me and guiding me. But I will tell you this.
Mentorship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so you do have to register your business with the state. You have to have that EIN number. And then you have to sign up to be able to even put bids in to be a contractor with the state of Indiana. Now, with the Department of Child Services, they always list on when they're opening contracts up. And so those are your RFPs. And so you just have to constantly be on the website.
Now, what's the RFP?
Oh, what does it stand for? I don't know. See, I told you I'm in my acronym bag. I just know what. Do you know what it is?
It is, the RFP is like the request for
proposals, maybe
proposals or funding or something like that.
Yeah,
I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah,
don't quote us on that.
Yeah, but that's an opportunity where they're saying, "Hey, we got some money to give. We need people to, do services for us," and you submit a proposal. And so I did know from my previous experience from working on the contractors that, they open those up every 2 years. And so I just was constantly looking and seeing when they were opened up. And so then when they did open up, then I went through and submitted my proposal. And again, there was another person who I had mentored in a previous job that walked me through that process about, what did that application look like? What did you need to include in your proposal to have it be successfully submitted and approved?
Awesome. That makes so much sense. Having that mentorship, having those relationships makes a big difference in how you move through that process.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for sharing that, because a lot of people say, I want to do this work, but they don't have any connection to the actual work, right? And it's so important for people who are just starting out. DCS was just like your stepping stone, right? And so there were more things to come, but you met people along the way that, connected you and poured into you and helped you through that process.
Yes.
So it's so important to build that particular network of people to help you through that.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell me what's next for Ambassadors of Hope.
We're going to keep doing what we do. Definitely am looking forward to expanding and getting into some more regions in the state of Indiana with our support groups. Awesome. I'm in the process of purchasing a licensee for a program. It's called Life in Limbo, and it's a simulation of being in foster care. And so people will could be the foster parent, the child, or the bio parent. And you'll do little activities to kind of enhance or give you a taste of what it's like for a child to be in foster care. It seems like a great program. I'm super excited about it.
So it's like a simulation kind of like?
Absolutely. And so we're going to utilize that for foster parent training so they can get their training hours. Also see it as a recruitment opportunity, because a lot of times people are afraid and aren't sure would I be a good foster parent. So this kind of gives you a little bit of a taste and see like, oh yeah, I got it, or maybe this isn't a good fit for me, and that's okay. You know what I mean? We all have to recognize where our strengths and our weaknesses are. When I pitched the idea to the Department of Child Services, they were super excited that we're going to be getting that, because they saw it as a recruitment opportunity as well. I definitely want to get in the professional development space. We've had a little bit of experience in that, but when I say I have a phenomenal team, I have a phenomenal team behind me.
Shout out team.
Yeah, shout out to my team. They are definitely well versed, highly educated, highly skilled women with so much backgrounds that I really feel like there's some skill sets that we could really capitalize on and spread. Because again, it's just, I believe in doing introspection work. You know what I mean? I don't, like I said, with my parenting programs, I'm not going to tell you, you feed the baby every 3 or 4 hours, you change the diaper like this. That's not what we're talking about. To me, to be an effective parent, you have to work on yourself and realize there's things going on with you, and this is dictating and leading your actions. And so that goes for professionals as well. How are we approaching these people in the time of crisis? We can be a hindrance or we can be a help at that time. So again, let's take this introspection work and work on your insights. So that's where I really would love to see where Ambassadors of Hope go is, like I said, we're still here for our resource parents, we're still here for our parents, and we're still here for our professionals.
Awesome. So can you tell us where we can find Ambassadors of Hope?
Oh, absolutely. I am not social media savvy. I apologize, but I do have a website, which is www.ambassadorshope.com.
All right, great. So that's where we can find Miss Courtney at. Before we get out of here, can you tell me how you have balanced it all as an entrepreneur, a mom, a community member? What has that looked like for you?
I don't know if there's ever any balance. You just do what you can, and definitely rely on your support system. Allow people to pick up where you can't, and be there for you. My mother has stepped in for me many of times. I can't be at this event, Mom, to promote the business. Can you come? And she may not know everything about the business, but she was there with her T-shirt passing out flyers.
Don't we love the mom support?
Yes. Definitely. Even my children, they'll come and sit out here with events with me, help make phone calls, help me make Zooms. I was just out of town last week, and my oldest daughter was setting up attendance sheets for my worker, and my youngest started the meeting for her.
Train them up.
Yes, absolutely. But you're one person. You can't do it all. So really lean on your supports, and that's going to really help you manage everything you got on your plate.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So, as always, everybody, get the bag. The evolution of your small business starts today. Sign up for our partners Verizon's Small Business Digital Ready platform, a free service to you to advance your business. Check the link below and click on that, and it will take you right to our Verizon Wireless link.